Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Eduardo Lees. I'm the Global Opportunities Manager here at Goldsmiths. Thank you for joining us today. Over the next 15 to 20 minutes, I'm going to introduce the Study Abroad program here at Goldsmiths. Also have Malika, who's current student here studying with us, who's also going to give you a little bit of insight into life as a student here at Goldsmiths. So just to start off and give you a bit of background to our institution, we are part of the University of London. We are made up of around 20 academic departments, so we're kind of similar to a US liberal arts college, for example, a focus on the creative arts, on social sciences, humanities. We also have psychology, business, education, and social social therapeutic and community studies as well. Our modules and kind of academic approach are generally very creative and interdisciplinary. We're an open, diverse and welcoming community, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about the kind of different students who are on campus shortly. And for the Study Abroad program, we have a range of unique modules on offer, and you can have a look at our module catalogue on our Study Abroad webpage, but you can also mix and match modules, which I'll talk about in a little bit more detail. An interesting fact about Goldsmiths currently is that we are looking at how we can be a more sustainable institution. We've got the Goldsmiths Green New Deal, which is looking to make us a carbon neutral institution by 2025. Lots of interesting activity there, including a vegan cafe on campus, and trying to kind of integrate more sustainability into our curriculum as well, and kind of modules about sustainability and climate change and those kind of subject areas. Our location, we are based in London, which is a fantastic city, obviously very famous for its cultural life and diversity, but really a wonderful city to study abroad in, lots and lots of places to explore. We're based in Southeast London in an area called New Cross, which really is an area where people live. You get to kind of see London as a local. You'll explore some of the local restaurants, cafes, bars. Former study abroad students have said it's just a great area. You kind of get to know the people who are serving you in those cafes and really feel part of the community. There's also lots of, I guess the area is also made up of lots of different communities. So you'll hopefully find people that you identify with and really live like a real Londoner and not as a tourist. But it does also give you access to central London and the ability to be that tourist, and kind of 10 to 15 minutes on the train and you're in London Bridge, you're by the river, you can walk along the South Bank, you can access the museums and galleries and really explore everything that London has to offer. Our campus is a single site campus. As you can see in the top right hand corner there in the picture, it's kind of grouped around this really lovely college green, which is a really relaxing space, kind of away from the busyness of London. We have lots of social spaces on campus, a range of cafes, contemporary art gallery. We've got a students' union as well, which offers lots of clubs and societies and a chance to meet lots of other students and other people who might share similar interests to you. And a 24-hour library where you can access the resources that you need to study the modules that you'll be studying. There's another picture of our campus from above, and you can see the London skyline in the background and the River Thames there. In terms of our community, as I said, we have a lot of different identities, a lot of different backgrounds on campus. So there are about 10 to 11,000 students at Goldsmiths, and these are some of the kind of recent statistics of how our community is made up. So 66% of our students identify as female, 48% of our students identify as Black, Asian and minority ethnic. 21% have declared a disability, and I'll talk a little bit more about the support we provide for disabled students shortly. Of those 10 to 11,000, 20% are international students, and we have students from over 100 different countries on our campus. The largest cohorts from outside the UK and the EU would be from China, the USA and South Korea. And if we're looking at our study abroad program in particular, we do have a large proportion of students from the USA, but also students from South Korea, Japan and Europe as well. 14% of our students have disclosed they identify as LGBTQ+, and I would say there is an atmosphere on campus that's pretty accepting of different sexualities and different genders, and a lot of discussion as well in our modules as well around kind of identity and gender. 22% of our undergraduate student body are mature students as well, so over 21 years old on entry. And we have a students' union, which I mentioned already, which brings students together and provides lots of opportunities for interactions, for meeting people, kind of like-minded people. There's clubs and societies to get involved in. There's liberation groups of students from different identities who come together to support each other. So lots of chances to kind of build your friendship group while you're here at Goldsmiths. A few pictures of our campus. Going back to the academic side of things, we feel that we've created a study abroad program that really you can tailor. You can create a kind of term of modules that really suits you. So you can take modules from across our diverse departments. So for example, you could combine a creative module in music or in theatre with something from computing, psychology, or media and communications or marketing. So you can put together the modules that you need to kind of meet your academic requirements. I mentioned this already, but we like to challenge the norm here at Goldsmiths. We look at ways in different. We look at topics in different ways. You can study through a feminist, a queer, decolonial lenses. Lots of interdisciplinarity across the different departments, and kind of sharing of ideas and really challenging the concepts that you're learning. If you're looking to study fine art and design, these are the exceptions to that kind of flexibility. You'd have to come here and study just those topics if you were coming to study fine art and design. Fine art, you have to come for the full year and only study fine art modules. And design, you can come for a term, but you have to remain within the department and study only design modules. And that's because both of those courses are very cohort based. And rely on you kind of getting to know your fellow students and really building that understanding of art and design together. In terms of your modules, these are confirmed in advance of your arrival. You can, as I said already, you can see the modules on our website, but we will confirm them after you've applied, but before you arrive. From spring 2022, you can also add an internship to your program, which is exciting. So you could do a combination of study modules at Goldsmiths, but also an internship in London, which is delivered by our partner, Arcadia, the College of Global Studies. And I'll talk a little bit about that on the next slide. So if you're coming here to do a study only option, we have 3 different options for you. You could come for the autumn term only, which runs from September to December. You can come for the spring summer term only, which runs from January until June. In this option, the teaching runs from January to April, and then the assessment period runs from in May and June. So it's kind of divided there. You can come for the full academic year, running from September until June. And if your English is not your first language, you can also join us even earlier for pre-sessional English courses from June and build up your English so that you're ready to start in September with the correct level of English. In terms of the number of modules that you'd be doing, you generally do 4 Goldsmiths modules per term. They are 15 CATs, which is a Goldsmiths credit each, which amounts, if you're in the US system, would amount to 4 US credits normally, depending on what your institution recognised. So that would be 16 US credits for the whole term. If you're looking to do the internship option, then this is available only in the spring and summer term, and that's because you would do 3 Goldsmiths modules at the beginning in kind of between January and April, then you do the internship in April and May, and then that would be alongside your assessments in May and June as well. A little bit more detail about the internship. If you do choose to complete an internship as part of the study abroad program, then you would be getting work experience and real life work experience here in London. Internships are available in lots of different fields, and we've put some examples here, but actually we're open to, if you email us, then we can work with Arcadia, and they are open to sourcing other more specific internships in different fields. We do ask applicants to be fairly flexible in what they're requesting, but we hope that we would be able to find you an internship that would align with your studies and hopefully your future career as well. Alongside the work placement aspect, you also do an academic module, which involves 6 class sessions, a reflection on your kind of work experience, and also coursework, which makes up the final grade. So you'd also get credits for that internship as well. In terms of the kind of wraparound support, as a study abroad student, you are guaranteed an offer of accommodation if you apply before the deadline. So this would be in one of our halls of residence, generally one of our halls of residence on campus. So our largest hall is Loring Hall, which is where most of our study abroad students are allocated, but we do have some off-campus options as well. All of our halls of residence are single room with ensuite bathroom, but you would be sharing a kitchen, and there'd be about 6 to 8 students per flat. Here at Goldsmiths, our halls of residence are all self-catered, so you need to cook for yourself, but this is also quite a good way of reducing the costs of your time here in London. You can buy your own food, you can kind of share, maybe cooking with your flatmates. And it's a nice way also to make friends upon arrival. We do try and mix up study abroad students with other shorter term international students and with full-time international and home students as well. So there's a chance to build friendships outside of your study abroad cohort. In terms of student support as well, we have lots in place to help you to adapt and to feel comfortable here on campus. We treat study abroad students as we do full-time students, so you have access to all of the same support that's available to students. We have dedicated disability and wellbeing teams, so if you do have a disability and you need an adjustment either to academic side of things or to your accommodation, then we encourage you to get in touch with us early on, and we can work with the disability team to put those adjustments in place. The wellbeing team are there to support you if you have any crises or kind of concerns or worries while you're here. That could be around the academic side of things or personal things as well, and includes counselling services. Out of hours support is also available through our campus support officers who are based in our accommodation services. They are there again for that kind of well-being pastoral support, or if you just need a cup of tea and a chat a few weeks in when you're feeling a little bit homesick, that's what they're there for. Obviously, adapting to a new academic system can be challenging, and there's lots to learn. So we have academic support through our Academic Skills Centre, where you can get one-to-one tuition and kind of advice and guidance on writing, on plagiarism, on referencing, all of those kind of things. We also have an academic contact for each department for study abroad students, so you can talk to them about any queries you have relating to maybe the assessments or how the lectures are structured. Again, if English is not your first language, then we have English language support in place as well, which either through dedicated modules or kind of out of module support as well to help develop your writing skills or your speaking skills as well. All of the Global Opportunities team are trained mental health first aiders, and there's a whole lot of staff on campus who are also trained mental health first aiders. So there's a lot of support in place if you did need that kind of urgent mental health support initially. We also have a 24-hour security team who are there in case of any emergencies. And to help welcome you when you arrive, you'd be involved in an orientation week. So the Global Opportunities team would welcome you with a briefing and some social events, but you also get included in the wider university activities as well, which gives you a chance to orientate yourself, to better understand how the university works, and also to meet some other students as well. We have student advisors. Malika is one of our student advisors who can offer peer support as well if you have any concerns or just want to speak to another student about how Goldsmiths works. Every university has then different ways of working, so it's good to get that insight from a fellow student. And the Residence Life team also provide kind of social activities within the accommodation and another chance to kind of build friendships and with other students as well. And finally, if you need a visa, then we also have the Immigration Advisory Service to help with any visa applications and information around what you need to enter the UK. Okay, so Malika, gonna move kind of pass over to you and ask you a few questions around life at Goldsmiths and how it is to be a student here. So if you'd like to initially just introduce yourself and let us know what you're studying, that would be great.
Yeah, so hello, Malika. There's an echo, thanks. And yeah, I'm studying psychology for my undergraduate degree. I'm in my final year, just started, and my capacity here is just working as a student advisor. helping the study abroad team with that.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Malika. And what can you give us a little bit of an introduction to the academic side of life at Goldsmiths? What's it like studying here? What's the kind of idea around lectures and seminars and what it's like for you?
Sure. So the academic life here is, I think, quite unique. It's really challenging. No week's the same, which is really good. Everything is super interesting, and it can all be tailored to suit your interests or your particular career path that you want to get into. And one thing I think is really great about Goldsmiths is that the staff are always really in touch with you. They really touch base a lot. You get constant contact. You get assigned, a tutor, a personal tutor, which kind of acts as a mentor. So you'll have one-on-one meetings with them, and with anything you'd like to talk about academically, they can be one-on-one, and also group meetings. And I think that's something that can be missing sometimes in other institutions. Is this idea that your lecturers are these people that you don't really know personally, and you see them maybe once a week, and that's it. But it's not like that. It's definitely they're definitely here to help you and offer any advice, and they're always keen as well after lectures, to have a chat and to talk about anything that's interesting you that hasn't been brought up in the lecture. And seminars, they're really great sort of extended sessions that can really go more in depth on sometimes niche topics. So there's always something for everyone academically.
That's really good to hear. And yeah, I mean, I guess that it also helps that the campus is quite small, so you kind of bump into people and see people around campus as well. But yeah, I would encourage study abroad students as well to talk to their lecturer. You're not here for very long often, so it's really good to kind of try and build those relationships quite quickly on arrival. What about non-academic side of things? What's it like to be a student at Goldsmiths, and are you part of any clubs and societies? How is it on campus in general?
So non-academically speaking, it's really great. Goldsmiths is really like alive. There's a really big community feel. Everyone is happy to help, and you feel like you know everyone, even though you may not. Everyone's happy for a chat, and even if they're doing a different subject, it's really great to talk about what their experiences are as well, because everyone's is unique. And I think that goes with you everywhere you go. So in your cohort, in classes, but also traveling in campus and around the local area, because I think it's such a rich and diverse area that Goldsmith students know to take advantage of that. So you'll probably see a lot of familiar faces over time, hopefully. And in terms of sort of clubs and societies, the SU we have, so the Student Union, is really great. They work really hard, and they put so much on offer for us students, including study abroad students. And there's always something for your interest. So we have so I'm a part of the gardening society, which is really fun. And Goldsmiths has tons of greenery and spots for us to plant things. It's really good, obviously, environmentally, but in terms of mental health, it's really nice to have that area with lots of people as well. And also there's an anime gaming society, so there's something for literally for everyone. There's lots of sports societies as well, which I think is great to keep active and sort of get that team feeling. But yeah, there's always something for everyone, and everyone's always really supportive and friendly as well, which I think is what most people always comment on when they're around Goldsmiths. So that's really nice.
Yeah, I would agree on that just as a place to work as well. It does feel like a bit of a family and people looking out for each other. What about London as a city? Any kind of tips for study abroad students? Any thoughts about living in London as a kind of city itself? And New Cross as well. You can comment about the area.
Sure. I think, yeah, I'm lucky, being born and raised in London. I've always been here, but I think it means that sometimes I think that everything's super simple and I don't explore as much. And I think coming out to Southeast has really forced me to do so. In terms of, New Cross and things in closest vicinity, sorry, to campus. Yeah, there are loads of things. There's a lot of great places to eat, places to go with groups. There's a lot of a good nightlife, especially at the SU itself. But beyond there as well, it extends. There's because this idea of diversity kind of goes beyond campus, and there's always there's a lot of events for particular groups as well. So if you feel that you want to explore your identity or groups that you belong with, it's always really easy to do so, luckily, near us. In terms of, London itself, like you said, we're really close to Central, and campus is literally right opposite the Overground, which is what I use all the time, and it's really good. It's got great access, and you can get anywhere really. But I think, yeah, to kind of look at London sort of in a tourist lens, I guess. I think where Goldsmiths is in a great spot. There's lines everywhere, and it's pretty affordable. And I think there's always what I really like to do from campus is to sort of look at art, so art areas. And there's a lot of that. I think a lot of galleries and places to sort of chill and be mellow as well.
Yeah, that's great, and it's so true. One of the I think one of the real big benefits of London is that a lot of our art galleries and museums are free. At least the kind of like main exhibitions that are kind of the kind of holding exhibitions that are always there. I mean, I like the Tate Modern for me is like one of my favorite places to go, whether it's to sit outside and listen to the buskers or whether it's to go into the big kind of main hall and see whatever kind of is the new structure in there at the time. And the fact that you can go there for free is just incredible. Just pop in and see this amazing art. It's really good. And then the music scene for me, I think in Southeast London there's quite a lot of live music, but also across London lots of little gig venues and theatres and things to see. So yeah, lots to explore. Too much to explore even for us who live here full time. Finally, any kind of tips for top tips for students who may be coming to Goldsmiths that you can think of, maybe even from some of the students you met recently, because we had a welcome week event in person with the students. But yeah, any final tips to share?
I think top tips to wrap up, the weather's unpredictable, and definitely to, I guess, try not to be shy. I think there's always something to tag along to, even if it's unplanned. Sometimes the spontaneous things are more fun. And like you mentioned, a lot of students will be in Loring Hall, and I know a lot of students, domestic students, full-time, that also stay there, and it's really a great place to sort of make new friends and people that you hope to stay in touch with beyond your time here. So I think yeah, so weather to social life, don't be shy. Really try to sort of get out of your shell, because anything you think you're feeling, everyone else is probably feeling as well. So it's always nice to talk to someone else. And I guess just just try to explore the wider area, and there's always lots to see. I think that's the top tips. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, great top tips there, Malika. Yeah, thanks very much. And thank you very much for taking the time to join us today and speak about the programme and Goldsmiths in general. So just moving on to the final bits, how to apply, obviously, very important. So our application process is very simple. It's an online application form. You can find it on our website. We ask for a study abroad reference and an academic transcript. If English is not your first language, then we will also ask for an English language certificate, and there's more details on our website of kind of what that requirement is. The form is simple, just ask for some simple personal details, kind of name and contact details, for example. If you are applying for fine art or design, then you will need to submit a portfolio as well with your application. And if you're applying for the internship program, you also need to upload a CV or a resume. And there are some additional questions on the application form around your goals and experience, as well as the questions of kind of which kind of fields you'd like to work in as well. Information on application deadlines. So for the autumn term and full year, we open applications in February, with applications closing at the end of July. For the spring summer term, applications open in August, and the deadlines are the 15th of October if you're applying for an internship, and the 15th of November if you're applying for the study only option. If you'd like some more information, then you can visit our website. There's lots of information on there. I really recommend looking at the module hub to find out more information about the modules that are available. But there's also information about the kind of support, more detail around the support for study abroad students, and a little bit more about our program structure. Feel free to email the Global Opportunities team at Goldsmiths at studyabroad@gold.ac.uk if you have any questions, or if you want more information, for example, syllabi for specific modules, or more information on accommodation or kind of start dates, things like that. We're here to help. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. Thank you to Malika for sharing your experience as a Goldsmiths student, and we look forward to receiving your applications.